Greetings, gentlemen. This is going to be another laning stage guide for the offlane. I hope you enjoyed. We are looking at a rank 250 AX player. This is going to be absolutely insane. Stay tuned. Before we get into the laning stage, as a offlaner, your main goal is to stop the enemy safe laner from getting last hits. Your goal is not to kill the enemy safe laner, even if you of course can attempt to do this, but your goal is to mess up his laning stage, mess up his item timings as good as you can, get as many denies as you can, and just disrupt his ability of snowballing into the game. After the laning stage, you want to pressure him as much as you possibly can, so he has a really tough time to recover from the already lost laning stage. The amount of aggression and kind of mindset that you have as a offlaner really dictates how good and how beneficial your performance will be in the games. So you want to get in there with a mindset of complete destruction, and you're like, alright, this guy's going to try to last it. I'm going to throw my HP, my mana, everything I possibly have against this guy in order to make his lane as miserable as I possibly can. Alright, let's jump into the laning stage. Let's go over the starting items real quick. So Axe went for the Tango, Quelling Blade, nothing too special, and then many times we can actually see the double ring of protection. This double ring of protection allows him to really beef up, and then he can play very greedily for his next items. So he's laning against Phantom Lancer and Warlock, and of course Warlock is going to harass him a bunch with his Q, but keep in mind that the Fatal Bonds, as it says here, the shared damage type is the same as the type of damage inflicted. All they really have is auto attacks. This Phantom Lancer is not going to spam any Qs on him, so magic damage is not really the issue here. So he's approaching the laning stage. Immediately the first thing we do is we set our spell. We want to get it off cooldown. We don't want to wait for the perfect opportunity, especially on a spell like this. We just want to get it out so the mana can regenerate and we can get some initial damage. And then he draws aggro. This is the second thing he does, so the lane immediately looks favorable for him. PL just went to this lane and he is coming to a lane where the range creep is already under attack and is protected by two heroes. So Lashwreck and Axe can both contest this range creep easily, and this Phantom Lancer is going to be forced to send a Spirit Lance or to heavily overcommit and trade damage for this, and this is exactly the scenario we want to create a ton as a offlaner. Looking for some denies, and this is what's happening here. Spirit Lance, but it still misses. The aggro that Axe was throwing actually made this kind of play possible, and then immediately it snowballs into the next good thing that's happening here. So since this creep is dying, those creeps have the option to either stay with the Axe or they're reconnecting with the next target that is attacking an enemy hero or is in the area. And in this case, they are reconnecting, and this means that this Phantom Lancer is out of position. He should be looking forward to get a deny on this side as soon as he can. The deny is timed out, it's a wrong timing. The creeps lose the aggro from the range creep kill, and immediately his own creeps here are reconnecting, and suddenly this Phantom Lancer is tanking the enemy melee creeps, which of course he doesn't want to do. He's losing a ton of HP, and this situation, this picture, procs the Axe to get into a aggressive trade. So he's manning up here. He's using the fact that whenever this PL wants to trade back, he's going to tank the melee creeps and he's going to tank the Axe attack damage. So it stacks up and it's a favorable trade for the Axe. So he's looking for another deny that's coming up here. He uses his W again, tries to get some last hits, navigates his courier already to the secret shop. We want to get our items, the Ring of Health, as soon as we can. And again, we see a aggro play where he's putting the aggro on his own range creep, so it falls in deny range earlier, and they have to fight and contest for it, and fighting on the offlane is exactly what you want to do. They both, the support as well, the support and the offlane, they both try to get the range creep deny. And as soon as the PL is in a weird situation, we are trying to trade again as an Axe. He's only level 1, but this is still an opportunity where it's possible to play. So he's trading here. He's getting zoned off a little bit by the PL. PL managed to get some positive trades in, and we will be seeing him retreating a little bit. Luckily, his support has some extra regeneration for him, so he can fill up here. And now we see the anti-mage falling low. Our W is getting off cooldown again. We got another range creep deny, and we're looking what we're going to do. So he got the last hit first on it, and then used his W on the Phantom Lancer, but Phantom Lancer still managed to sneak on one deny in, so the proc of course is lost. And now we hit level 2, which means we can trade. And now we have a situation where we have a couple of melee creeps. We have the Eggs sitting in here, and even though we are having the Fatal Bonds on us, he's still deciding to take a trade. He knows that his Grimstroke has an ability ready, so with the ability and the extra damage from the Eggs, they have a potential to kill. Grimstroke slightly misses his ability, but manages to get the kill afterwards. And this kind of trade, even though of course on paper it's not beneficial because he lost the XP first, so PL killed him first, that's why he got the XP and then he died, and only the supporter is benefiting from the XP. If you look at the last hits, we see that both have very similar last hits, and they barely have any. And remind you, this is a rank 250 gameplay, so it's expected that both of the last hits should be way higher. And now think about what kind of hero suffers more from having little last hits in the laning stage. Is it Aegis, who has a spin and can recover from the jungle, get a couple of ancient stacks, basically only needs level 7 and can clear infinite amount of ancients? Or is it a Phantom Lancer that really wants to be looking forward to get his couple items to barely survive with his level 6 in the jungle? I mean, obviously phrased like this, it becomes clear that this trade, even though Phantom Lancer gets the kill, is still beneficial for the Aegis, and those kind of trades is exactly what we want to do and what we want to provoke as an offlane player. He's using his W again once he comes to the lane. He's looking to make some clean denies. Again here the range creep is falling low, so we try to contest this, and now we don't want to be walking in him right now, even though there are a couple of creeps. We're not level 3 and we don't want to risk too much HP loss, so we're not going to fight into the creeps and to the full HP Phantom Lancer. The plan is to hold the wave if possible in front of the tower. This allows us to have a position where the tower is not pushing in the creeps and the lane is not rebalancing on the side here. So we can keep it steady and we can try to zone DPL. He uses his W and it forces a spell from the Phantom Lancer. And this is a cool scenario, I think, where people miss a little bit the point of the laning stage and forget their main goal and main focus. Right now, Phantom Lancer is fighting with Grimstroke, and you might be inclined to help there, and you might be inclined to run over there and immediately do something. But as your job, as I said, it's your goal to distract the enemy carry from last hitting. You want to distract him from last hitting. And if your support is already doing this, then there is no need for you to further participate in that. Like if this Phantom Lance is already distracted, you can take all the CS and you can take all the denies, especially here, to make the lane as comfortable as possible. And then only when this guy retreats, we see a immediate active move again, and he's trading with the PL. So he's only trading to get him away from the creeps. He's not trading for fun. He doesn't really care about the HP in general of this PL. He only wants him to stop being able to last hit. Looking for deny again. Both heroes try to catch the deny. I think this is what, if you want to easily tell how good or bad people are in a gameplay, just look if both of the heroes try to get the same deny. If they have some sort of synergy, you know that their game understanding is similar. Grimstroke pushes out the wave and kinda gives away a deny here. We're getting a aggro again. Immediately the aggro towards his own range creep. We've seen that before. And now he's just slowly chopping and trading. Things that Aegis does. At this point, any trade is going to be beneficial for you, since you have a Ring of Health, and the Phantom Lancer doesn't. But he's still looking for the denies, even here. He doesn't want PL to get anything. Now we have a kind of status quo. We see a Spirit Breaker charging through. Nothing really happens here. We don't have the heart yet, so we don't want to dive the tower too deep. And if both heroes are like low HP and have to play careful, again it's a win for the offlaner. That's a great thing I think about offlane. Here even he pings the deny, which you can do to communicate that, hey, that's my focus, that's my goal right now. I think this is the beauty and the elegance and luxury that you have as an offlaner. You can do negative trades as long as they're also negative for the enemy. If you both don't get anything out of the laning stage, you still won. He's playing around the creeps again. He's looking here to get this range creep. Catches the next CS, and now he's only showing very little aggression, like he's not completely over-focused into the dive. I think his thought process of why he went there and stood in the creeps was that he wants to get the last hit secured, and the reason for that is because he's very close to his Vanguard. And now he's getting his Vanguard, and as soon as we get the Vanguard, notice by the way that he has 20 last hits in 5 minutes, even though he has been trading a ton. As soon as he gets the Vanguard, there is a change of behavior expected. And another benefit that we have is that we have a Katapult Wave right with us. So I would expect him to make some more aggressive moves. We see that the Warlock pulled, and I think this was a bad time to pull, because now the Catapult is hitting the tower and they can make an aggressive move. I think this move was a result out of the Warlock pull, and he kind of fucked up here. Even though he wanted to secure the farm for his Phantom Lancer under the tower, he's risking both of their life because they can dive with a Vanguard. And you can hardly blame him, I think, because it's difficult to keep track exactly of the Vanguard, but you can expect it to happen at some point, and then you, as an offlaner, you want to abuse it as good as you can, and as the enemy support, you want to pay attention to the enemy items and their progression. So again, the snapshot that we want to have, he was looking at this scenario, sees this wave pushing in, so he knows this Phantom Lancer is busy and has even a vulnerability to be killed under the tower, and then he was strafing with his camera back real quick to see if his Grimstroke was on the same page. So he's not blindly forcing this play, he's looking for his supporter and trying to non-verbally communicate what is going on. And then he realizes that the camp is pulled because the wave is not showing here. He immediately contests the pull. Another goal here is to catch a couple of CS, but it's a little late for it. And then immediately he doesn't care about the creep wave. He looks for the guy who pulled. And then he finds the Warlock, low HP. They go on the Warlock, they get the kill. With this kill, you open up many opportunities. Sadly, it's not really possible to play even more aggressive here, because this wave is going to die very soon, and as soon as this creep is gone, then the tower will prioritize the hero over the catapult, so it's going to be difficult for him to really push into the Phantom Lancer. So he grabs the wave that's remaining, and then he chooses to take the camp away from them. I mean, they can't really farm it at that point, but it's a really sneaky play, I think, and it just boosts his last hits a little bit over the edge. I like it. Then he's reconnecting to the wave. Of course, running towards the Phantom Assassin, looking for the denies. Here as well, again, the patience on the range creep, just the attempt of constantly getting it, and then a aggressive move again forwards to get the PL. So you have the full HP now and a high HP regeneration, so you constantly want to look forwards to play aggressive against the PL. Or, and this is the second alternative here, to really control the wave. That means you stay stationary about your wave and you try to pull it in this area, and then you just hold it and zone the enemy. Ember is rotating, super nice, and they of course dive immediately. Now a Sand King is coming in, that's a cool one. The enemy forced a play here. Let's see if Ember still has TP. Ember does still have TP because he walked up here. And this puts Sand King in a very, very weird situation because he just TP top to defend a hero that's not alive anymore. And his carry is struggling to get farmed now because Ember is still lingering around. And now he's forced to make a play with his level 7 against a Axe level 5 Vanguard. So this is a tough one. The only play Sand King really has is to cast his ulti and then to get on him consistently, wait for a TP out and then stun him. But he's stunning first, then he's casting ulti, and the Axe of course TPs out. He's reconnecting to the lane, and he sees that there's some action going on. PL is already low HP. After reconnecting, he sees that the Ember still has a remnant here. And this remnant means that even though Ember just TP'd in the base and is filling up, that he plans to come back towards the lane. And now we want to prepare the lane in a manner that suits our Ember the best. So even though he started this little creep camp here to maybe stack it, boost his own net worth, or even pull if he's a little bit earlier, he's interrupting that kind of thought process, and he's like, alright, if Ember is coming back to the lane, I want this wave to be shoved into the tower. I want to be posturing even more aggressive and preparing some engagement already. This is exactly what happens. So Ember even pinged the spot once more, and Axe is moving in. This Axe is moving in, and he sees the PL, and he forces PL to use a spell, and he clears here the camps, and then he's even diving into the tower. And basically that kind of movement and that patience on the call with the knowledge of Ember joining back to him enabled him to get a really, really nice kill here. He's intentionally tanking all the tower shots. Look at that, how much he's tanking here for his team. And suddenly everybody is on the top side and they get a really nice kill, even on the counter rotation from the Dark Willow. Of course, now you can say, well, yeah, I wish in my game everybody would be rotating and ganking and stuff like this. This is an example of how you can prepare such a rotation even more in advance. If you do not get the opportunity, you just play different. You always play with the hands that you dealt. And in this case, the best move was to prepare it as good as possible, to tank the damage with the Vanguard. Now he wants to slowly heal up and continue the aggression that he has. So Phantom Lance is back to the lane, he's level 5, 9 minutes in, and now the Ake's behavior changes drastically. Before we've seen a ton of aggro drawing, we've seen him being aggressive, getting damage into the PL, trying to be annoying and trading HP. And now look what he does. He's chilling here, he's not drawing aggro, and he's looking to get the denies. He knows that the power spike of Phantom Lancer now is not about the last hit that he gets. His next power spike is going to be his level 6. BL wants to get out of this lane. He wants to be level 6 and jungle as fast as he can. So this guy is not thinking about destroying Phantom Lancer's ability to get last hits because he wants to deny him his gold. He's just thinking, alright, I'm gonna hold you hostage in this lane as long as I possibly can. And look how greedily he's playing for that denies. He's not drawing aggro, he's not pushing the wave intentionally, he's posturing in this area, sure, but he's not pushing the wave, he's not giving him anything. And now he's just slowly prepping every single deny and keeping that PL hostage on level 5. I think this is so cruel to do. Only when he recognizes that PL didn't show in the lane anymore after his Barat joined, he assumes that there's a ward and that PL retreated completely. He pushed in the wave, he's threatening the tower, now he sees the PL return, and same thing, we're looking for the denies. He sees that PL is still not level 6, clears the camp in the meantime, which you can do as a X, and then same thing. Trying to play it slow, trying to get the denies. And then the thought that can come to mind is that we want to push with the Katapult. So all that kind of denying changes again. Dota is a game of changes. Whenever a change happens, you want to adapt and shift your mindset and perspective as well. He wants to protect this Katapult. With a Katapult, you have the opportunity to take a tower. So he's immediately rushing in. And he's tanking that creep wave under the tower, and he's pushing even further. So he's defending the Katapult, and he's putting aggression on the tower, and he realizes his strength once again, and sees, of course on a minimap, because he's not asleep, that Grimstroke and Ember are about to come into this lane, and then he's looking for a kill. Even Anti-Mage shows up. Whatever Anti-Mage is doing here. I assume Anti-Mage had a rough laning stage or something. Nice. Nice. Things happen. Sand King used the stuff. PL still died. Like at this point, if we look at the last hits as well, the Axe is far ahead of the Phantom Lancer. Even if you risk a death for an action like this, we just got a blink before 12 minutes. I think this is a perfect example of how you can play the laning stage, how you can prep ganks that are coming in, and what kind of mindset you should be having during the different stages of the laning stage. Alright, but I've talked like 20 minutes now already, so with this I'm going to make a closure on it. If you want to see more offlane content and a full game analysis or any specific hero request, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have any feedback for me about like the setup that I have, about the camera, whatever. I'm super glad to improve my content and to have a interesting Dota experience with you guys together. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching.